Hi, everyone. Going to give a couple of minutes for everyone to attend, to dial in. Great. I think you could get started, Isis, if you want to start.
All right. So just want to welcome everybody to our virtual fair session. We are so happy that you're here. We're going to be receiving more participants as we go, but just wanted to share this is a really great opportunity to learn more about our program, especially how our language and culture program works, and also to get a chance to meet some amazing alumni that we have here tonight with us. Two of them, one went to Italy, Alvaro, and the other one went to Rabat in Morocco, and her name's Marriyam. And so you all gonna have a chance to get to meet them later on today in this webinar and learn about their experience with us. My name is Isis Jimenez, and I'm the enrollment coordinator at CIEE. Today's webinar is about learning a new language abroad, and specifically for those who are going to a country to learn a language for the first time. And you may have already noticed my accent. I'm not a native speaker of English. English is my second language. I'm from Brazil originally. I've been here in the US for a few years, been abroad studying languages as well. And so I'm really, really excited to get to know you all and also get to hear your questions and support you through your process of learning about CIE's program. And so I'll start with a quick overview of our language and culture programs, and our alumni will take it from there and share about their experience. But just before we start, just wanted to let you all know that we are recording. And so if for any reason you have a video going on, if you want to just take it off, it's up to you. And then at the same time, we have the chat disabled. So please submit any questions you have through our Q&A, and we'll have our staff and checking over there. Pierre, our marketing director, is here with us tonight, as well as Lauren, who is our manager of study abroad programs here in the area of Florida and Georgia. And
Yep.
so,
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say hi.
mhm.
I'll leave my camera off so that I am not taking anything away from the stage. But if you guys want to ask questions as we go through the Q&A module that's at the bottom of your screen, I'll be able to fill those in or get them ready for our Q&A session with Alvaro and Marriyam. This is really a great opportunity to ask questions directly to students who've lived the program. So feel free to really ask about their experience. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Pierre. And also, if for any reason you're interested in learning more, but you maybe English might not be your first language as well, you're welcome to ask questions in Spanish or Portuguese, and we'll do our best here to, and also French, and we'll do our best here to support you so you can get your questions answered. And so let's get started. So here, we are CIEE, Council on International Educational Exchange. We've been around for the past 75 years. We've originally started doing college exchange programs and transitioned over to high school study abroad. And we're really happy to be here and be offering this kind of opportunity for you, for students just like you in high school, to have this amazing opportunity to study abroad and learn a new language. And we support over 30,000 students every year, including our college programs. And we are also a nonprofit organization. And we're really here with the vision, the mission to humanize international relations and to help people gain more understanding, acquire knowledge, and develop skills for living in this globally interdependent and culturally diverse world. And so that's what our programs are really aiming towards. And we also are happy to share that we have the opportunity to be administrating the largest scholarship fund for U.S. high school students in the country. So these opportunities that we have going on here aren't only just amazing by themselves, they're also equitable. And so we are really looking at being able to make international education affordable to everyone interested in participating. And we can get to talk more about it as we go. And so here, just wanted to give you a quick overview of our language programs. They average 4 weeks in length. We have 7 different languages that we offer. We have Spanish, French, German, Italian, Arabic, Japanese, and Mandarin Chinese. And so just a little explanation here. For Spanish and French programs, we do require that students have at least a year of prior language experience in those languages before they travel with us. And so if you're an eighth grader or seventh grader, even maybe attending tonight or even during high school still and are considering going to one of those countries, just know that we do require at least a year of language study for French and Spanish programs, with the exception for heritage speakers or those who have been somewhat exposed to the language beforehand, who could take an oral test and see maybe you can get that waived. And so we'll go case by case and try to get you to where you want to go. And so, on the other hand, if you want to study German, Italian, Arabic, Japanese, Mandarin Chinese, you do not have to have any prior experience with those languages. So you can just get on board and go to your destination and take it from there. And so for most of our language and culture programs, we'll look at placing you with a local host family. So not only you will be able to have that immersive experience in the country, taking language classes during your day, being out in the community in the afternoon, learning with the locals how they communicate, how to order your food. You also have opportunities to really develop an understanding of the culture and the language with homestays. And just wanted to share too about homestays that they are fully vetted. It's a really really in-depth process that they all go through before they can even get accepted into our programs. They are also being supervised by our local CIEE staff in those specific regions where the programs are run, and they have a really amazing process there to really make sure that everywhere we place students that is a safe place for them to be, and that also historically what I can tell is the host families are really just really looking forward and open to share their homes and their culture and their language with this with you all when you go there for the summer. So most of them historically have already hosted before, and not always the case. We are always growing our community of local homestays, and you're welcome to drop any questions you have about that specific topic in the chat as well. And just also, just in regards to our curriculum and how much of an immersive experience that's going to be for you, historically, we have noticed that about a month of CIEE language and culture programs equals an average of a year of language program here in the US. And that's because of how immersive you're going to be, how the curriculum has been so carefully tailored so that you can get the most out of that 1 month that you're there immersive in that particular culture and country. And not only that, you also get a chance to work towards your college admissions with gaining 4 college credits with us. It's a partnership with that we have with Tulane University. It is an extra $150 to request your college credits should you want to have them. And you can receive them after the conclusion of your summer program sometime in the fall. You're going to be able to receive your official transcripts. So that can be going towards your college application materials as well. And also, we have the Global Seal of Biliteracy. So it's something we encourage everyone who is interested in that to follow through. It's something that will be managed by you, and we're gonna work with you so that you and your school can get that together with the state, and we can give you more information about that as well. Some places when you are eligible for a CO of biliteracy, some places that can be really meaningful depending on what you're going to do in college. That can be something that can really strengthen your college application later on. And credits can be waived depending on the requirements of your classes when you enter into your new school in college. And so there's some criteria as to how you would be eligible to receive the CO of biliteracy. And we can if you have specific questions, you can just drop them in the chat and we'll get them answered for you. But for right now, just wanted to summarize that we do have 7 languages that you can study with us, all in their native speaking countries and amazing programs. You most historically, you will likely stay with a local homestay and you gain amazing fluency and capacity in the language at the end of your month with us. And so here's some of the locations that you're going to be able to choose to go to. So we have all of those amazing places here around the world, and we continue to grow. And for 2024, these are the summer 2024, these are the places that we are with open applications to send students to go there. And all of these different beautiful places around the world, we have local CIEE staff waiting with language centers open there to receive everybody. And so here we have places in Mexico and Argentina, lots of places in Europe, as you can see. And we are resuming our programs in China this year after COVID. So it's going to be really, really exciting time. Taipei, two beautiful places in Japan, Tokyo and Kyoto. And we also have South Korea in Seoul. I've personally lived in Taiwan, very near Taipei for a year, and it was an amazing experience. And so here we go. So a little bit about a day in the life of a language and culture student here with us, the CIEE. So in the morning, you're going to have language classes. Then later on in the community, you're going to have the chance to practice everything that you've been studying in the morning. And then you're going to be able to dive into a cultural activity afterwards just to tie it all together. And then at the end, you're going to have a chance to debrief all of that at home with your homestay. So as an example here for our Spanish program, in the morning, let's say you are learning how to order food at a restaurant. So you're going to do that, practice that in class with your teachers. By the way, our teachers are all locals, native speakers of the language, excited to share about their culture and language with you when you get to your destination. And so after that, you do your language class. You're going to have a chance to then practice what it's like to order your food at a restaurant right next door with locals. And so you're really like immediately looking at applying that language with the people there. And maybe let's say you're learning about how to order food. So maybe in the afternoon in Spain, we'll have an activity for you where you can learn how to cook tapas, for example. And then later on, as I said, then you're gonna have the chance to speak about all of your day, all of that in that language, in that targeted language with your homestay. And maybe even learn how to cook a new dish with them as they prep dinner. And so why to do a language and culture program? So we are here with 2 amazing alumni, and I will let them speak a bit more. And so we have Marriyam, who went to Rabat in Morocco. And we also have Alvaro, who went to Rome in Italy and studied Italian. And so I will pass it on to them. Here we go. Now it's Marriyam's turn.
Hi, my name is Marriyam. I studied Arabic language and culture in Rabat, Morocco this past summer. And I really just wanted to choose Morocco because I felt kind of a connection to it. Since I'm Muslim, the culture in Morocco revolves a lot about Islam. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to learn a new culture, but also kind of the same culture since I am Muslim. Some of the pictures I have here are a lot of our day trips. On Saturdays or sometimes after school, we will go on trips that just like immersed us more in the culture. I should have added a picture of my homestay, but I really enjoyed my homestay. I thought it was a way to connect with locals, and it was a really good way to kind of just have a support system around you 24/7. They were always there for me, and I thought like it was really good. They helped me with my homework, my presentations, and everything. I also added some pictures of food just to like give you guys an idea of what it was like to stay there and like eat locally.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Marian. We appreciate hearing about your experience. This is really, really great. And also just wanted to, for those who are watching right now, there's a code over there on the screen, and you're welcome to start an application should you want to go ahead and start, and then you're gonna get $200 off. And that's a referral code from Marian to you. Very special treat so that you can, you know, just as a token of gratitude for coming and watching this beautiful presentation in your evening. And now we're gonna go ahead and gonna hear a little bit about Alvaro's experience in Italy.
All right, so I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Alvaro. Last summer I traveled abroad to Rome, Italy to for their language and culture program. And honestly, this experience was amazing. I loved it. I came in with no expectations and I didn't know much about the Italian language. I knew a couple words and a couple of phrases, but nothing else. And, with the help of my peers and my teachers, I was able to learn more about the language. And we definitely went on a lot of day trips in which I got to get to know the culture a bit more and be able to talk to the people around, so like in restaurants and stores. I was able to ask stuff in Italian and, further practice it. Here I have some photos of my trip. Um, you can see pizza and pasta there. There's a couple of the food I had over there. You can also see a photo that I took of the Colosseum and a couple of my peers there. I don't know if in the top right photo you can see that's actually like my class. And I don't really think you can see her, but my teacher's right in the back on the right. And she was an amazing teacher. She made sure we all like were able to understand and further grow our speaking and reading skills. And yeah, well, right down at the bottom right, I have my QR code in which by scanning it, you could start your application and get a $200 off the program fee. So if you would like, you could start it now with the code. And yeah, thank you.
Awesome, amazing. Thank you so much. The foods you both posted look so good. Thank you. Makes me hungry. So nice to see, to hear about your experience. And just before we dive into more questions specific about their experience, just wanted to remind everybody that applying by December 1st, you get a chance to fly for free with us. So we encourage everybody, if you have a chance, the Thanksgiving break is coming up, so you have a few more days to work on it and more time off, so that if you are interested in, a chance to win a free flight, then submitting your application by December 1st is a good thing. And just reminding everybody, you don't need to be rich to do this program. We do have $6 million in scholarship awards for students just like you. And we would love for you to be awarded the scholarship you need to travel, to go abroad, to study, to learn, to develop skills, to live in this interdependent world that we all are a part of. And just so you know too, for those who are applying for scholarships, the final deadline for scholarships is January 24th. So we would need your application before the 24th, by the 24th, so that you can be eligible to participate in our scholarship process. All right, and so I'm just gonna leave this up here a little bit. We also have a QR code for more sessions that we have going on. Lots of really good, interesting webinars happening. So you have a chance to scan that and then sign up for more webinar sessions. And for right now, I just wanted to allow you to have that moment to scan so that we can come back to our page here um, and just kind of get to know a little bit more about our students. And so just wonder, it was really nice to hear about Alvaro's experience with the teacher there in Italy, and wanted to know if Marianne, if you could speak a little bit about your experience with your teacher when you were abroad there in Morocco.
Yeah, honestly, I loved the staff at Morocco. They were all just so welcoming, and they did everything that they could to like just make sure that we felt safe and that we felt wanted. They did a lot of things that like put our group together. For example, we would do like after school soccer games or just like do the most random things that were like not on the schedule, but they planned it anyway because like we're in Morocco, might as well like do stuff that we never thought we would have done. Um, they made it really easy to learn the language. It was more like, I would say it's more effective than learning in a classroom, definitely, because you actually go out after school with your teachers and they encourage you to talk to locals, which is something that I would never do back here in America. But I think they really pushed us to be like extroverted and not be scared to talk to those locals, which really helped us in learning the language.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Could you both maybe now Alvaro, could you just speak a little bit about what it was like for you? You had classes in the morning and then afternoon you did community engagement activities and like a quick just overview of what that was like for each one of you going out in the community, maybe an example of an activity that you did that you found to be really meaningful.
For sure. So in our normal day-to-day, on the weekdays, we would have classes from like 9 until 12. It's 3 hours of learning, but you would also get a 10-minute break around like 11. Um, Honestly, the classes every day was something new. You would talk about different every week, had a different theme, in which, you would work with your classmates, and at the end of the week you would also like present. But on a day-to-day basis, you would have classes from 9 to 12, and then in the afternoon you would do an activity based on that class. So for example, one day we learned how to we talked about gelato in class, and we learned how to like go to a gelato place and order gelato. And in the afternoon, we went around Rome and we found a gelato place that we liked. And a couple of us ended up ordering in Italian fully.
Mm, cool. Awesome. What's your gelato's favorite flavor?
Probably strawberry. I really like strawberry and coconut for sure.
Strawberry. Amazing. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. How about for you, Marion?
Mine was the same. We had classes from 9 to 12, and then we would have community conversations where we would just take everything that we learned in class and go out to locals and try to ask them questions that related to what we learned in class. Then we had lunch, and then we also had like a cultural activity. Um, Important one that I remember, we did Arabic calligraphy. That was like really difficult, but it was fun. Getting to learn how to like write Arabic pretty. On the first week, we did an activity where, like I said, the staff on the Morocco trip were really like spontaneous and they'll go off schedule a lot. So one of the weeks, my teacher had told us we were going like up a mountain for like, it's like a 5-minute walk. We were walking up that mountain for maybe 30 minutes, but it was a bonding experience. It like made a lot of us closer because once we got to the top of the mountain, everybody was complaining, but we had fun and we got home really late that day. So.
Cool.
There,
Just want to
there are a couple
check
of,
in if
yeah, I was
go
going to say
ahead,
there's a
Pierre.
couple of questions in the chat about the composition of the group. I was wondering if you guys could talk a little bit about that, like group size, how many students were in your groups, how were you paired for activities. If you could just paint a picture for everybody listening on who else was on your program and
My program, we had maybe 15 to 17 people in our group. And we were all split into different classes based on your level of the language. So if you were in a higher class, then you were separated from the people in the intro level class. So there was three. There was the beginner, like middle, and then the advanced. And you would like learn with those students, but then after that, you're free to like all the classes combined.
Right. In Italy, it was pretty much about the same. You would get separated into classrooms depending on your skill level before flying to your destination. I'm pretty sure you would have to take a test to see on what level you will put on. But about the age of the students, I'd say that the youngest in at least in my group was 14 years old and the oldest was 18. So pretty much freshmen and two seniors in high school.
I think, can you remind me what grade were you in when you were on program yourself?
I was in junior year, so 11th.
And Marriyam?
Same. I was junior going into my senior year.
I feel like majority of students are usually junior year, but we do see sophomores and seniors as well.
Lauren,
There's a good.
oh,
Oops, sorry.
sorry. I was just
Go
gonna ask a
ahead.
question here. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
Lauren.
go for
I'm
it.
Global Education Advisor for our summer programs. Marriyam and Alvaro, I guess I wanted to know what was the one thing that you wished you had known before you traveled, and what was the most impactful experience that you felt like you had on that trip that you brought back with you that made you feel like you were forever changed? I know those are kind of loaded questions, but
Yes. Okay, so first question was what was something I wish I knew before traveling was, well, especially to Italy, Rome. It's very hot there. It's very, very hot. I definitely wish I had brought a portable fan. Because usually the weather over there was like around 90 to 100 every day. The hottest it got was like 107, and that was on the second week. It was
Oh my
around
gosh.
start of like July. And then the most memorable experience that I have there was probably the beach. On the last day we took a trip. On the last 3 days we took it an weekend trip to Pompeii, the city in which the volcano exploded
Yeah.
and the people were killed by ashes. We had a tour of Pompeii, and afterwards we headed at a hotel, and the next day we went to the beach, and that was actually like our last day in the program. And we were a couple hours there, and I just remember like being with my friends at that point, honestly. And it was so much fun. Like I really enjoyed it. We were playing like games that you would play at a beach. We were playing volleyball. We had a ball that we were just throwing around. And it was just an overall great experience that, I'm probably never gonna forget.
So, and Marriyam, what about you?
I agree about the heat. It was really hot in Morocco. I was like one of the only people with the portable fan, so it'd be like passed around the whole classroom. But another thing I wish I knew was to rest before we went on the trip because it's very jam-packed, I would say. And like you don't get a lot of alone time for yourself. So I would say that like maybe a month before you actually travel, just make sure that you're getting that rest so that you're not like actually exhausted on the actual trip. And one of the most impactful moments, I would say, it was, I think, the third week, and we went on an overnight trip to another city called Shashawan. And it was just a really fun experience, like everybody there at once, and you got to stay in the hotel room with all your friends for the first time since we were in homestays before. I also think that's the moment where like it really clicked that we were about to go home, and I don't know, like a lot of people got really close on that trip, I would say.
Wow, yeah. Do you still talk to
I-
any of your friends on the program? Yeah.
Yeah, I still talk to all of them.
A few questions from the attendees. One, it's kind of interesting. It's about, did you guys experience any such problem as discrimination or altercations, either with students or locals at some of these locations. Did you experience any of that? And if so, like how was this managed?
Luckily for me, I wasn't able to experience any of that, which I'm very grateful for. But in Rome, Italy, I don't think there are any alterations like that at all, and I don't remember hearing about any discrimination happening. So overall, I would say not really.
For me, I didn't have any altercations with the students, but the same overnight trip I was talking about, something like happened with one of the locals where they had said something a little disrespectful to me and my friends because obviously like we're of darker skin tone. But I would say don't let that stop you from going because I mean you can experience that sort of discrimination anywhere really. And I think that I mean you're in a foreign country, so you're gonna experience new things and the people there also are not aware of what's right and what's wrong here in America. So I wouldn't let that stop you from applying.
Awesome. Thank you both for answering that. Quick question for Alvaro. Do you remember what neighborhood you were staying at and where was the study center? It's pretty
Neighborhood.
centrally located usually, right?
Yeah, it is very it's pretty much in the middle of Rome. It's in the heart of Rome. It is, I'm actually looking at it over here on my second monitor, and it is about like 10 minutes away from the Colosseum and like 15 minutes away from the Pantheon. It is in the middle of everything. The Pantheon, the Colosseum, the Fountain of Trevi, Villa Borghese, it's in the middle of Rome, pretty much.
And
And
so
it's a great location.
when you did the program, we were using dorms that summer. It
Correct.
was kind of exceptional. Usually, it's every language and program is on a homestay, and those homestays can be in and around Rome. I think the maximum commute that you may have to your homestay is 45 minutes, which by a big city standard is pretty average. But we try to accommodate any distances. And other questions from the Q&A about language growth. Can you both speak about like how much you grew out of that program in terms of fluency? I know that you were tested before and after. Actually, I don't think we do that for Arabic, if I'm correct. But how would you talk about your level of language right now, and what do you plan to do with those skills?
I would say I'm at a beginner to an intermediate level. I definitely know a lot more than I did going in. But for Morocco, I would say it's kind of difficult because since it's Arabic, there's a lot of different dialects. The Morocco dialect is called Darija, and it's very, very different from all other dialects of Arabic. So yeah, we didn't have like that official test that tested your literacy, but we did have like a small interview process at the end to see what level you're at.
For sure. So coming into my trip, I thought I knew sort of, you know, couple phrases and words that will get me around, but in reality, I didn't know much. And I realized that like probably the third day of my trip when we started like doing classes. But at the very end, I feel like I was able to like genuinely have a conversation with someone like, very short, very simple. I knew some phrases, I knew how to introduce myself, how to ask for things, how to like ask for directions. And I'd say my speaking proficiency like grew a lot with this trip and, the classes and everything.
And were either of you able to become friends with locals? Like, can you talk about like instances where CIEE organized connections with with other students your age, and talk maybe a little bit about how you managed free time? Like, were you able to meet other teens your age outside of the program, or are you kind of like with the program at all times? Talk a little bit about that.
I would say we did make connections with locals, especially like the stores and the delis around our school. we connected with them because that's where we would go a lot for the community conversations. But other teens our age, not really. I think it would be hard to do that since they mostly speak Arabic, so it's hard to connect with them. But I think I made really good friends within the people in the program itself. So
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. In Italy, the staff made a lot of effort to have us like interact with locals. There were a couple times when we had dinners with Italian families and we were able to, enjoy a meal with them and practice our Italian skills. Also, with getting to know people our age and like practicing our Italian language speaking skills with them. That didn't happen often, but I do recall at the beach. I remember one time when we were eating lunch at the beach, a group of like teenagers approached like the people who I was sitting with, and they asked us to take a photo with us. And nothing weird. They're being pretty cool, honestly. But at first I was confused because I didn't know if they wanted to take a photo of me or my group or if they're asking for us to take a photo of them. But they just wanted a photo with us. And we did, and at the end we ended up talking with them and bonding together over music. And one of them knew how to learn how to speak English, but we were also able to try to talk to him in Italian.
There was one question pending. How was the process for actually getting to your location, such as buying tickets, actually getting there and settling it to the new location? Maybe Lauren or Isis, you can talk a little bit about the flight booking process briefly.
You want to take it,
Lauren?
Aces?
It's up to you.
You can go for it.
Okay. So so with the flight, we have the option that everybody can come from the US, meet at one specific location, and then we're gonna shop around the flight. So that's an option. And I am actually, that was one of my questions for the alumni to see which option you each did and how that went for you. We usually will have one specific, historically, the way it has happened is that we'll have one specific airport where we're gonna all meet, and from there we're gonna travel all together to the final destination. And upon arrival at our final destination, we'll meet with our CIEE center staff of that particular region. And then upon arrival, we'll have the student orientation and just kind of lay the ground rules, get to know each other, see how just overall um, presentation about what the time together will look like and any specifics to the area. Sometimes, depending on the country you go to, the staff will most likely, historically, that's at least what has happened in specific countries, is that they're going to take you around the city and show you how to get around with public transportation. And just so you know, too, it's all included. All the transportation is all included as part of your program tuition with us. So if you don't mind just like speaking a little bit about your experiences for each one of you.
I did the chaperone flight, which I preferred because I never traveled alone before. So I thought it would be good to have people with me. Also, once we got to Morocco, it would be hard to like communicate with the people at the airport. So I thought it would be beneficial to do the chaperone flight. Um, the travel day for me was pretty good, other than the fact that I did lose my luggage for a week. So I would say be mindful of that and make sure that you have a carry-on that has your essentials because I didn't have that. So I had to go shopping once I was there. Um, and once we got there, for us, the time difference was like 5 hours. So we didn't do any touring of the city the same day. We just went to our home stays and kind of got to relax until the next day.
For me, I chose the alone flight. I didn't do the chaperone flight because the chaperone one is usually more expensive, just a couple $100. But if you think you need to travel with people, then definitely do that. It's a great choice. But for me, I didn't find it necessary, although it was my first time flying alone. I was aware of traveling and how the process was going to be, and it went well. The flight was around like 7 hours long, and it went well. And when I arrived, I kind of got a bit nervous when I arrived because I was like, oh, I'm in a whole new country and I don't really know anybody here yet. But I was able to go through the airport security. I found a sign that said luggage claim, and I just followed that, and I was able to get to security and then to luggage claim. And after that, I was a bit hesitant whether what to do. So I was just waiting there until other people arrived at luggage claim, because I did have Wi-Fi at the airport, and I was also in contact with my other peers because we had made a group chat before traveling. But at the end, I ended up going through, like, just leaving luggage claim with another person that I met from the program. And a CIE member was there, and they asked me for my name, and then they took me where everyone else was.
There is one question in the chat that we breezed through quickly. I mean, we touched on it when we talked about altercations or difficult moment on program, and you both did a great job answering. There was a follow-up question that was, in this changing world, how would you handle issues of anti-Semitism or Islamophobia if they happen? And maybe Lauren or Isis, if you want to provide some context around like how we support students as well. I don't know, Marriyam, if and Alvaro, if you have any examples on your group like to share, or if you have personal opinions on how you would navigate something like this in a in a new place where you don't know all the codes.
Personally, I didn't experience any Islamophobia because I was in a mostly Muslim country, but I did experience some racism. I think it was easy to handle because when I did experience it, it was with like a younger kid. So one of my friends had just told one of our staff members, and we talked through it. It ended up being fine, but I would say to just stay calm because you don't want that to like make your experience bad. You don't want it to override like all the fun that you had on your trip. So I would say just don't worry too much about it. Maybe speak with the person or speak with your staff members to see if you could get anything.
Right. And again, I didn't get to experience any kind of racism or sort of discrimination, fortunately. But if that were to happen, CIE is there always. You can approach them, you can talk to them. There are great support systems, and you also got the people there that you just met. Although, there are new people that you just got to meet, they can be great resources, and you can just talk to them. And again, like Marriyam said, don't let these kind of like things ruin your trip pretty much. Just, you don't have to think much about it. And just enjoy your time there because you're only going to be there for 4 weeks.
Yeah, so just to follow up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to follow up really quickly. Yeah, to follow up on that question, we have 24/7 support on our at our study centers with our local staff. So if there are ever any issues, whether that is discrimination based on religion or race, or if there's an issue with a host family or a student on program, there are support coordinators there to speak to and to try to get those situations mediated in a positive outcome. But those don't happen too often.
There are a couple of questions, I think, for you, Marriyam, because they're about homestays. And Alvaro, you were in a dorm. So could you talk a little bit more about what it's like to be at a homestay? And there's a good question saying, how do you deal with talking in a different language if your homestay is constantly talking in the target language? Especially for you as a beginner, like, how did you navigate that?
Yeah, so my homestay, I was with mom and her husband. How I navigated the language, I would say my homestay knew a little bit of English, which they're like told not to speak with us in any other language than the target language. But I think if you're really struggling, then just try to speak English with them. Also, there's always like Google Translate, which we use if there was something really important that none of us could understand each other. We needed to use Google Translate. But I would say don't be scared to go just because they don't speak your language, because what you learn in class, you could always use that to speak with them, and they're really open to helping you. She helped me with a lot of things. She taught me a lot about the language. There was also my host mom's niece, I believe, taught me a lot about the language, and she helped me a lot with the homework, and she spoke English as well. So she would help me translate to my host mom when I really needed it.
Awesome, thank you. There's another question in the chat about flights, but I'm going to type an answer because I'd rather we focus this time to hear more about Alvaro and Marriyam's experience. So is there one memory, one anecdote that you guys would want to share about that's kind of like iconic of your experience there, or like, you know, something you would that you enjoy remembering, something that would tell us a little bit about the flavor for your experience?
I'd say the first day, honestly. I remember we just all arrived to the airport. Most of us were tired from that long flight. And just like everyone was just talking to everyone already. We were making friends and people were actually like coming up to you and introducing themselves. So, you know, in case you're kind of like introverted, don't worry. You know, people are always gonna, you know, be there and they're gonna come up to you and maybe introduce themselves. And that's how I met most of my friends. You know, they just came, they introduced themselves, and then we just started talking. And just getting to know that many people was great. I really enjoyed like the first day, especially.
Yeah, same. Also, I really liked the first time as a class we went to the beach together. I think it was a bonding experience for a lot of us, and that's the first time the whole class collectively like hung out with each other, and not like in our separate groups. As long as with the overnight trip to Chefchaouen, that was a bonding experience because we were all in a hotel, and in Morocco, the hotels are not like really big. They're really small. So it was like our whole class just in one hotel. So it was kind of like a house, and we were just all around the house. Um Also, I would say just the bus rides, because Rabat is the capital, but I would say a lot of the historical cities are really far out. So we would be on the bus for like 2 to 3 hours sometimes. To get to Chefchaouen, it was like 5 to 6 hours. And it was just fun because we would be singing. Yeah, we would just do a lot of things.
There's a great question in the chat about the biggest culture shock from each of your trips.
For me, I'd say that the biggest one was that Italians don't usually have ice with their drinks. That's something that they don't really give you at restaurants at first, so you have to ask for it. And that was something that was like, oh, like not oh, but like it was just shocking to me.
The biggest culture shock for me was there was this thing, it's called the hammam. It translates to a spa, but it's not really a spa, but it's really common within Morocco people, and they really encourage you, the staff really encourage you to go. But it's kind of very personal, where it's like imagine a spa but more intimate. So like somebody will be washing you, and it's just, yeah, it's more, I would say, like revealing than a spa, but they really encouraged us to go. But I don't know, I just didn't feel comfortable doing it. But my host family was asking a lot about like why I'm not going along with the staff. So I would say that was the biggest culture shock for me.
There's a good question about how did the group grow closer together? Like, did you feel like there was a whole group bonding experience, or was it more like smaller groups, you know, little cliques forming on the group? Can you talk a little bit about the group dynamics, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely both, honestly. During our like big activities where like everyone would be included, everyone would like be there and everyone would talk to each other. Obviously, there were like smaller groups that you know, happened because of we were separated into different classes. So like each class was mostly like their own group, but everyone in those classes like talked to each other. Um, and yeah, honestly, during this experience, nobody was excluded. Everyone always had someone to talk to, and everyone was always like welcome to like come join someone. Maybe, for example, during our afternoons, we would have time to like walk around the room, and everyone would always be paired up with someone, and people would make their own groups too, but nobody was excluded, and everyone always had someone to be with.
Yeah, it was the same for me. It was definitely a combination of both, where at times where we were all together, the whole group, nobody had like bad blood with each other. There was no drama. Everybody was friendly with each other. But I mean, everybody's different and everybody relates to other people. So there definitely were small groups that were created, but it wasn't like anything bad. Um, yeah.
Great. Thank you both. Um, on a somewhat related note, and maybe Lauren, do you want, maybe you can mention a few things about like how we create like the right learning environment for those students and, being supportive of each other. And there was a question around like, were there any conflicts between the group of students? It doesn't sound like it from what you guys are talking about, but maybe saying.
Yeah. So Pierre, are you asking what how we separate the students into the groups and the levels?
Oh no, sorry. I was just talking about like how everybody is like onboarded, but I think maybe we can move on from that topic because it sounds like both students had really good experiences.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't invite someone who had a horrible experience.
And just wanted to mention too, like there is also the program leader who's gonna be right there,
Oh, that's a great question. That's a good point.
right? Because
Can you
at
tell?
any point,
Can you explain who that is?
yes, absolutely. So at any point when you travel abroad with us, with CIEE, you're going to have firsthand connection with a program leader. This person historically has been a high school teacher, especially if it's a language and culture program. If you go to Spain, you likely, historically, you students have had program leaders who were Spanish teachers. And so they're targeting the Spanish language to be spoken at all times during the time there. But they're not just someone who will help you with homework or help you with the language acquisition. They are counselors for you. So at any point that you feel like you need someone to talk to, you are homesick, you experienced something that may not have been so nice, they are right there so that you can reach out to them. They're from the United States, they're Americans, they speak fluent English, they're right there with you. And so beyond them, you also have CIE staff members who are our center locals, know the area really well, know the culture really well, may not know so much about the American culture as your program leader will, but they're also very much integrated into American culture as part of us, a CIE. And so you have that, if you ever experience anything that you needed maybe a little bit of a feel of home, you have that.
We have a great final question in the chat because then I want to be respectful of everybody's time. But it's about what was the best trip that you group took together? I think Marriyam, you mentioned Chef Shawan, but it would be great if you could explain what that is and give us a little bit more info about that. And then Alvaro, you talked about your first day on program being your most memorable, but is there any particular excursion that you wouldn't want to talk about?
Apart from the first day, the beach, like I mentioned before, that was great. It was a great way to end the program. It was actually the last day, like I mentioned before, and then the next day we took our flights back home. But apart from that, another great trip that I can remember was probably visiting the Coliseum. That was, I remember it was the first Friday of the first week, and I feel like then, there I was able to like further bond with my classmates and make actually like friendships. And I just really liked it overall because I got to spend more time with everyone else.
Yeah, other than Chef Shawin, I really liked our trip to another city called Mohammedia, where in Mohammedia there was another CIEE group, but they were doing service and leadership, I'm pretty sure, instead of language and culture. So we got to stay in their school that they were teaching kids at, and I don't know, it was just really nice getting to see other teens because you're with like the same people for a long time. So it was nice getting to meet them. And I would say that was really early on to our trip. So I would say that's like that was one of the times where like people made a lot of new friends and we all just got to learn a lot about each other.
Quick question. Sorry, Marriyam, about homestays. Lots of questions about homestays. Great that you're here to talk about it. Was there any time for you to do activities with your homestay? Can you talk about like when during the week and what it looked like?
Yeah, we did activities all the time. Whether that was like your host parents doing something like on their own, taking you out. Like for me, for the first day, on the first day we went out to it was kind of like a river or lake area and just walked around there. Also CIE does like homestay integrations where they pick a thing either every day or every week where you get to just like connect more with your host family. For example, one of the weeks they taught us how to make like a traditional food, and then the other week we had to teach them how to make a traditional American dish. They also did things like just go out and go shopping for like groceries with your host family. Yeah, and small things like that that just make it feel like an actual family.
Awesome. I think this is it for question, and we're just at the hour mark. So I will let you, Isis, close.
All right. Well, I just wanted to thank everybody for being here. And if you have any further questions about anything that we touched upon today, you can email them to hsabroad@ciee.org. HS as in high school, hsabroad@ciee.org. And we'll be happy to answer them for you. You can also give us a call at 866-583-0332 anytime, 9 to 7 Eastern Time. You can call and we'll be happy to speak to you and provide specific information. So thank you. Thank you for coming. I hope that tonight's session was enlightful for you, and we are here to continue to answer your questions should you have anything else. So please do email us or call us at that number.
Thanks, Marriyam and Alvaro.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye. Have a good night.
I think it's a wrap. Thank you all so much.
Marriyam, let me ask you, what was the American dish you taught taught your your host family? Did you teach them one?
I actually didn't know because it was hard. It was hard because the area I was staying in didn't have like a supermarket where I could access like yeah.
Oh man, bummer. What did they teach you?
I have to hop onto another
Oh.
session, so I'll leave you guys. But thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.